Well, you gotta love it when things are working out. And some recent changes here in the fish room are actually doing just that. They're working out and the results are good. So this is gonna be a bit more cheerful than the last fish room update that I shared with you. And we'll start with those beautiful Electric Blue Acaras that are living their best life and really blossoming in the 55 gallon planted tank. Let's go ahead and start there and work our way around the fish room. There he is. This is definitely the most dominant of the two Electric Blue Acaras that I brought over. Beautiful fringe on the on that dorsal fin. Great color in the body. The subdominant one is in here somewhere, probably hiding underneath that log there, but oh nope, there he is right there. Not sure if it's a male or a female, but what's happened is that since this one's come over, it's also gotten a bit of a orangey fringe on the dorsal fin, so it's kind of blossoming as well. They don't seem to be harassing the other fish one bit. All the other fish continue to thrive. So this move was a good one. All the other fish in here are doing well, as you can see, including my gaggle of neons down there, about 15 of them. And a big shout out to Frank Vera, a friend of mine in Puerto Rico, who sent me over a shipment of plants taken from his aquarium. And I'm not even going to bother trying to give you the name or pronounce the name of these plants. They are the bronze variety. Of this particular type of plant. I'll just list the name here on the video for you, but thank you so much, Frank, shipping these plants all the way from Puerto Rico, and here they are thriving in my aquarium. Very, very appreciated. Again, we are part of the best community around. When you look at different communities out there, certainly the fish keeping community is exceptional. Another move that was recently made was bringing over the red tear, putting him back in the 55, and I'll wait for him to come out of that cave, and you can see his body looks great. His fins have healed from some of the little tattering that occurred. Battles in the 210, and he's just looking spectacular. Certainly loves his cave. If you don't have caves in your aquarium, I suggest trying a few. I got mine from Unique Underwater Galleries. But I love the rummy noses. Look at these rummy noses, how they school and how pretty they are. But I picked mine up at Unique Underwater Galleries, highly recommended. And you'll be surprised who will gravitate toward the cave and take up residency. I mean, I didn't, you don't see that often in fish descriptions, like be sure to provide caves for this fish. But that Salvini in the 210, and certainly this red tear love caves. Here's the 90 gallon, and the fish in here are active, colorful, but I've noticed a few little pits on the forehead of the Syriaminensis, and I am going to be treating this tank with a regimen of Paracleanse that was sent to me by the aquarium co-op. So I'm just going to go ahead and bomb this tank with Paracleanse because it is effective with hole in the head, and if that's the beginning of some hole in the head, I want to go ahead and hit it right now. There's a feeding hole here in the top of this aquarium, if you can make it out there. And what I was doing is I was using this thing here to, I would drop this in there so that the food would not go everywhere. And it's entirely possible that the fish might have just been hitting themselves against the edge of this in trying to attack the food. So that may be what's going on with that, with the little marks on their heads, but I'm not going to take a chance. I'm going to go ahead and hit the tank with some medication. I don't want to take a chance and risk it getting worse. I imagine once it gets to a certain level, it's not going to be reversible. I've had these fish for a very long time. A couple years, some of the first fish I actually received when I got here to Nashville. The Buenos Aires tetras continue to do well in here. Very, very active. Behind the 90-gallon, we have this 29-gallon hospital tank, quarantine tank. Nothing really new to report here, except that the little bumblebee platies are looking really good and are just about ready to come over to the live bear tank. Eating well, active, great fin displays, great color. So I'll be bringing them over shortly. You'll notice in several of the tanks these hanging, they actually are with like a float. Like if you fish, you know what a float is. So there's a little bubble float at the top, and then an adjustable line. You can make it longer or shorter with that little black adjustable bead right there. But it's just a very easy, simple way to feed the fish zucchini or cucumber. That Siamese algae eater loves cucumber. So you'll see those in several of my tanks. They're from a company called ZooMed. This is the live bear tank, and of course anytime I look at this tank, they think it's time to eat. So you'll notice lots of activity, lots of color. And again, one of those floating feeders in here. I have a pleco, and everybody kind of picks at it. We come over to the betta tank. You can see him back there. Come on out, don't be shy. Very pretty betta. This side continues to remain empty. Not really empty. I have some Culiloches and some plecos on this side, but I might be using it as a holding tank. I might just pull the plants out of it, the Anubias, pull the Anubias out of it, and the Sprite, and move it over to this, all of it to this side for the betta to play with, and then I'll use this as just a holding tank for some fish that I believe the Cichlid Shack is going to be sending over to me. But this betta is looking beautiful. As you can see, and he has built just an absolutely gigantic bubble nest, like the mother of all bubble nests. Always a good sign when they're building a bubble nest. Being a tough guy. He has a pleco in there with him. None of the coolie loaches are on this side. But he seems to be doing well. Looking for the bed on the other side, who is now gone. Let's go over to the 300 gallon. Here's the long view of this tank. I always love the long view of a tank. This tank, of course, is 7 feet wide and 300 gallons, and everybody is currently getting along fine. As long as I stay on top of the filling in the pits that are built by the boss of this tank, which is without question the Malawi trout. As long as I fill those in, which I just did another one right here. He was building a pit right there and pairing up with the sand diver. So as long as I keep those filled in, everybody gets along fine. And for some reason, this sand diver is the one that does the breeding dance with the trout. And when that's going on, all the other fish just stay on the right side of the tank. But you can see everybody's fine now. There's no stress in here until the next pit gets built, but I'll be right on top of it and fill it in right away. That trout is just a big horn dog. Always wants to be ready in case a female shows up. Let's go over to the 210. I think this bobblehead is so funny. I like the way they made me look so thin. Recent changes in the 210 have completely normalized everything. And by normalized, what I mean is the fish are acting the way they were acting before. They're active, they're moving around. The albino Oscar was very, very subdued and really acting very much afraid and hanging out at the bottom, laying on his side. I mean, I thought he was in big trouble. And I think he was just being harassed by the red tear. Now he's swimming around buddied up with the red tiger, Oscar, like they were doing before. So that's much better. No one's messing with this beast. Silver dollars are doing okay, despite an occasional chase by the Nicaragua. Beautiful fish. Salvini is a bit more active, but not in the constant attack mode that she was in when I had the red tear over here. The Cichlids fins are healing up very quickly, and both of them no longer have that shredded look that they had just a few weeks ago, or just actually more like a week ago, really. Healed up very, very fast. And I think the Cichlids were being harassed also by the red tear. Some of you asked, why didn't I just take the cave out and leave the red tear in here? And it was because the red tear was getting hit by the Salvini, which you can see right here. but red tear was harassing other fish, and so it was sort of the greatest good to go ahead and take the red tear out. Now you remember the way the fins looked on this fish in the last update. Completely different now. Almost 100% healed up. So there you go, a full fish room update. Let me know what you think in the comments below. Any tips, suggestions, you know I listen. And I hope to see you on Saturday at the Cichlids and Coffee live stream. That's every Saturday at 11 a.m. Central. That's 9 a.m. Pacific, noon Eastern. And if you'd like to help the channel along, be sure to give the video a thumbs up, subscribe, thumbs up, hit that bell, and if you're so inclined, support the channel further by becoming a member of the Garage Gang, a Patreon monthly supporter. All the details are in the description below the video. Thank you, my friends. You are very appreciated, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.